Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting, June 6, 2013, 7:01 p.m. Those who would, please join us. We'll have the pledge and the prayer.
Please bow. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you have created for us. Father, we want to thank you for the many blessings of life. Father, we want to keep those in Oklahoma and those that in the catastrophes of the tornadoes, Father, in our hearts and minds through this catastrophe that they've endured, Father. Father, we want to ask that you would guide these men and women as they undertake the city's business, that their decisions would be in the best interest of the citizens. Father, we ask these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have several things that are to be added. For one, discuss and/or take action of ordinance 808, and that would be added to new business L. Secondly, I have additional applications that have been submitted as additions to this agenda under the discuss and/or take action on appointments and/or reappointments of the Board of Commissioners. There is one application to be added to the E1, and that would be John Hall. And under E5, there's addition of applications of John Hall, Matt Beata, and Wayne Hall. Will there be any other additions or deletions to the agenda tonight? Staff? Did I get them all? There is a deletion under E5. Darrell Mangrum application will be deleted. Any other additions or deletions? Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on, we have citizens' comments. Tonight we have Ms. Victoria Fuentes. Yes, ma'am. Welcome. You have 3 minutes to state your statements, questions, or concerns. Welcome.
My husband and I are here to oppose ordinance number 807 allowing chickens in residential areas. As I addressed in my email, I thought the long-term vision of Fairview was to beautify the city so that businesses and new families would be welcomed into the city that portrays the up-to-date look but still has that small-town feeling. Chickens are not your answer. Chickens take us backwards. They are not domesticated animals and should be raised on a farm, and we have plenty of land for that. Environmentally, they are not a sound choice for this community because of the disease they carry. Furthermore, by not protecting subdivisions, you alienate those who live in subdivisions. These subdivisions were built without the requirement of a homeowners association. This is the fault of the city for not requiring the developers to put that in place. Why you continually penalize the homeowners in subdivision is unacceptable. We should be protected like everyone else. It's okay to take our property tax, but protecting us, the city's mistakes, against the city's mistakes, you dismiss that as irrelevant. Metro codes are very strict for raising chickens. They cannot be in front yards. The droppings have to be picked up and disposed of properly. And the ordinance expires March of 2014. The ordinance must be renewed when new council members are elected. Right now, we have chickens roaming in front yards, in the streets, and on other people's property. How is the city going to enforce codes, or are you going to let the chickens roam around? This ordinance is bad for the city, and I urge that you oppose it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is awards and recognitions. I would like this evening to say congratulations to the 2013 graduates, not only of the Fairview High School, but all the high schools across the country. It's a great accomplishment, and I want to say as the mayor of Fairview that I'm very proud of the graduates. They have shown wonderful, outgoing spirits throughout the years I've worked with them at the Mayor Youth Advisory Council. Congratulations goes out to the graduates. Second is I would like to thank Keep Williamson Beautiful. They did an absolutely fantastic job collaborating with the Chamber of Commerce and did a spring clean sweep across Fairview, did a fantastic job, and their efforts were all volunteer efforts of our community and people who care about keeping Fairview beautiful. So I want to say thank you and recognize them for a great job. Will there be any other awards and recognitions this evening?
There are no staff recognitions tonight.
Any from the board?
You recognize Jimmy?
If you want. Public announcements.
Thank you,
We
Mayor.
have. I was going to announce it.
Go ahead.
Is that what you're going to do?
What?
No, he won't.
Public announcements.
The one thing that I do have is the Independence Day fireworks on July 3rd, beginning at 4 o'clock here at City Hall until. We have music and food and fun and, of course, fireworks. So we want everybody to come out.
Got so much going on, we all
Yes.
want to talk at one time.
Sorry.
Excellent. Also want to make a public announcement that July 14th from 6 a.m. to 12, there will be a 6-mile run at Bowie Park. The park department may speak more on that, but if you can put that on your calendar, if that's an interest, it's July 14th, Bowie Park, 6 a.m. to 12. And then on June 8th, there will be a fishing rodeo, and I'm sure Keith will share more information, but that's also a outreach from the park and from the parks. I knew I'd stumble.
TWR.
TWRA, thank you, I'm sorry. Fishing rodeo. And then the last public announcement is we have with us a gentleman named Jimmy Parnell, and he would like to share with us something, and we welcome him.
I can stand up.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Here it goes, let me sit down. Okay. Saturday, this coming Saturday, I am having my second annual MDA car wash from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So y'all, citizens of Fairview, I want to invite y'all to come out there at Fairview Recreation Center, and we're gonna have a bake sale also, and there'll be lemonade out there for donations. It's all for donation, and I am gonna have the Fairview High School football team out there, and they're gonna help me. And again, but the awards, I'd like to make me one award tonight, and I have been made Special Olympics, and that's why I'm wearing my shirt tonight. I have gotten 2 awards this past spring that were held at Fairview High School on the football field, and in the football field, and I feel like I was right at home to me because everybody I saw, they knew me because I'm a real big fan of Fairviews.
Excellent.
So 9 to 1 this Saturday
At the-
at the Fairview Recreation Center.
You gonna tell about your dad's upcoming breakfast?
Oh, yeah.
June 15th.
Okay, thanks, Stuart. And the lodge down there is having their annual. I don't know how long they've been doing it for, but they're gonna have the pancake breakfast Saturday, June 15th at what time?
7 o'clock. 7 to 10.
7 to 10 o'clock. So down here at Fairview Lodge. So if y'all can, I want y'all down there to come.
Jim, your dad be upset if you didn't tell everybody they got country ham, bacon, sausage, eggs, biscuits, homemade gravy.
Yeah, the country ham, country eggs, and sausage and bacon and biscuits and stuff like that.
Yum.
And it's good cooking and good eating.
And it's only,
Thank you.
it's only $7.
It's on $7.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Excellent. Thank you, Jimmy. So if everyone would support muscular dystrophy and our Jimmy Car Wash, Saturday 9 to 1. Thank you so much. Any other public announcements this evening? The next item is the approval of the minutes for the April 30th, 2013 Board of Commissioners meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is 7A, discuss and or take action on Bill 2013-12, ordinance number 807.
2013-12, 807 is an ordinance to add Chapter 3, Section 13-301, keeping of chickens, to Title 14, zoning and land use control of the municipal code of the city of Fairview, Tennessee. Move for approval for discussion and or action.
Second. Discussion.
Discussion?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
For many of the reasons that Ms. Fuentes so eloquently shared with us, I can't support this. I have 6 that I want to share the basis of my coming to that conclusion. The first one, I guess, is somewhat of a deja vu when we went through this with the guns in the park. And we had an ordinance that prevented guns in the park forever. No one seemed to be bothered by that, didn't seem to hurt anything, and we spent a lot of time discussing it. And I kind of see this as the same way. It's not broke. We don't, we haven't had chickens allowed since except for those that were grandfathered in. And I don't really see an overwhelming need to add that. I see it more as a want than a need. And I agree with Ms. Fuentes in that I don't see that as being very progressive for our city. A lot has been said about Metro has this and Metro has that. Well, Metro has many things that we don't have that I'm not necessarily for bringing to Fairview. So we won't start with that list. Secondly, to me, I don't want them living next door to me. Chickens smell. They attract animals to the feed. They attract more animals to the eggs, and then even more animals to the chickens themselves. And we have a lot of wooded area left in Fairview, and we have a lot of animals in the wooded area. And it's going to move those animals to where they can, I think, be a hindrance and disturbance to the neighbors. The CDC recommends against having them in an urban environment. It raises the disease potential. This is a personal opinion, but it matters to me. We can't seem to get folks not to litter, not to speed in the school zones, and to cut their grass in a timely manner within the city. I'm not convinced that if we allow people to keep chicken coops, they'll keep them clean. The 3 people that wrote me in favor of chicken coops went to great detail, and I'm sure those people were very serious in how they would do it, but they were not the majority. I received more feedback this time than any previous issue I have, and since in the 5 years I've been sitting on the commission. And it was overwhelming in favor of not passing this ordinance. And then I guess the last thing is that I notice sometimes when I'm riding through the county and places where people are raising chickens, they stick signs out where they're selling their eggs. And as I read our ordinances, either we'll have to amend more ordinances, or those folks are going to be subject to business license, they're going to be subject to health department inspections, and I just don't really see that there is a need that would cause us to go to all that expense. So I intend to vote no on this ordinance. Thank you, Mayor.
Other discussion?
I have comments. I don't know that I really had a stance or anything. I just know that if enough people bring something up and want something, it should come in front of the board. And I've had enough people over the last 2 years ask and inquire and want chickens. But you don't really know how many people are against it until it comes out. I'm thrilled for both sides to show up because I think both opinions should be heard. And the numbers of people, the sad thing is probably only 10% of the community care either way. So it kind of makes it hard. But I mean, I think anything, if citizens want something, it should be discussed. And this happened a long time ago. There are major cities, Nashville, Franklin, Brentwood, they all have ordinances on chickens and allow chickens in there. But I think we are too lax in what we have in front of us tonight. I think there is a happy medium. I'm not against chickens. I agree. They're not always the cleanest, and people aren't going to keep them clean. And we do not have the health department that Nashville has, and I know that's a big concern with codes, and I think that needs to be in consideration. Who's going to police this? It still does not change the fact that we're a rural area, and we do have people that move out here, and they would like to be able to raise and have chickens. When we grow, we may want to reconsider. It's something that we can't start out smaller, and if this works, then later on say, okay, well, we can open it. I don't know. I just think enough people have wanted it that we should talk about it. And that was my only thing. But I don't know that throwing out the chicken ordinance and everybody has it is the right way to go, especially when we are a city that is growing and we have it. Unfortunately, you're right. We have let these neighborhoods down, and those are the people we're hearing from. It's 2 major subdivisions that have opinions about chickens, and it's because they don't have a neighborhood association. And that's something we need to change, and we need to enforce these developers to come in because they would be protected. But you can have your own neighborhood association. You just have to have a majority agree on it and pay your dues, and then you're protected by that stuff. And then every time somebody wants to bring something into your neighborhood, you're not having to feel like you're fighting for it. But then we have a part. We have to protect you, and I realize that to some extent because we can't change what's already happened. But from here on, we need to find a way to protect these people that do intend on moving into a neighborhood, and they want that environment, and we just haven't done it. And so I think by voting on this ordinance the way it is, we are not protecting those citizens. So I would like to see us go back to the drawing board and look at it again. That's my opinion.
Okay. Other discussion?
Larry, is it the city's job to force a development to have a homeowners association? And legally, can we require it?
I think I haven't researched that, I wasn't expecting the question, but off the top of my head, I don't think you can require them to have a homeowners association unless they're PUD. And now if they have a homeowners association, I mean, they can start their own, there's no question about that. The subdivisions out there, they get the covenant, they get their homeowners association documents drawn up and record them, and they've got one. But I would have to reserve final comment on that as to whether we could require it, so I could do some research. Obviously, I can answer this, this part affirmatively, definitively. We do not enforce homeowners association restrictions or covenants unless they parallel the city ordinance and the city ordinance is being violated. But as to whether you can require them to have one or not, I need to do some research on that to give you a definite final answer.
While I value everyone's opinion, blaming the city I don't think is the answer in this situation. There's many people who've lived in the different subdivisions for years and years, and at any time they could have taken the opportunity to have started the homeowners association. What many people don't know as well is they have deed restrictions on their properties that may not allow those anyway, where they are right now. That's like saying that the city should protect them from not being able to put up a vinyl fence or not be able to put up an above-ground pool. I don't feel that it's the city's. There's a level where government needs to protect you, and then there's a level of government that just destroys people's lives because they're just too involved. And I don't feel that telling somebody what kind of swimming pool they can have should be the city's jurisdiction. If it's set up in covenants and agreed upon by a new homeowners association, then that's fine. But I also agree with Mrs. Carroll to an extent that if this needs to be taken back to the drawing board, I have no problem with that. We can bring it up at the next time. I would like to say that I would support it, and I would like to say that I don't think there's going to be any issue if it's done correctly, policed correctly, to destroy or diminish anyone's property values. There are people that have dogs and cats that are way worse than chickens. Now, there needs to be a limit on how many chickens you can have. I don't think you should be able to go out and probably have 4,000 chickens. And that probably needs to be covered in the next ordinance when it's brought to us. So it is.
There's a limit in this ordinance.
4. So I mean, I don't think this is going to get out of hand. And Commissioner Brissell brought something up about the food. Well, I can't think of a single animal that would want to go eat the chicken's feed and not want to eat dog food or cat food or anything that might be outside and in a trash can or something. I would say all the wild animals would be going after that as well. So I guess that's kind of all I have for tonight, and I welcome anyone in a subdivision, if they want to start a homeowners association, that's exactly what they should do. And then they'll get a true idea of whether or not the people in the subdivision actually support it or not. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things. I agree with just about everything everybody else has said up here. I've got several emails, nowhere close to Guns in the Park, where I got phone calls and threats and everything else. Nobody's threatened me over a chicken yet. And I try to respond back to those. To me, my job is to represent the people, and it's the wants and desires of the people as they make it known to me. I had almost 2-to-1 emails against it that I did for it. I wish I'd have gotten 500 so that I could better represent the majority of the people within the city. I only have very few. It's minute compared to what's in the city and the homeowners and everything else. I agree with Vice Mayor Johnson. The one thing that can prevent this from happening in the future, if it's ever brought back up again, is have a homeowners association. If the majority of the people there want to do it, that's the way to stop it. And it's not something that can be forced on the homeowners in the community by the city. It's not something we do or don't do. For the same reasons that Commissioner Massell stated, and with the response I got from the constituents that I got information from, as it stands right now, I'd have to vote against it also.
Thank you. I did get several emails, pros and cons, and it was a very difficult to cipher back and forth. And with the information that I've got now and the information from the commissioners, I'd like to amend your motion and defer it for further discussion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to 7B.
Nay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any opposed? I'm so sorry. Opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. 7B, discuss and take action on Fairview City projects. Project Manager Hoslinger.
Good evening. I've put before y'all a new project spreadsheet. This is kind of a collaborative effort with the city manager, Don Lavorne, on how to organize the projects, and like we talked about last time. So if y'all are comfortable with this layout, if it has the information, if it needs more information, don't hesitate to let me know. This is the first round of this one, but we can always add more information. I'd like to start off, if possible, with parks and greenways. So everything we've kind of lumped that has to do with parks and greenways is now in the parks and greenways section. So for the first one, City Center Greenway, we're still working with the design firm on that, trying to get to the NEPA phase. Bowie Lake Road, they just started the construction of the sidewalk from the playground area over to the nature center. We're still waiting on the last of the utility relocates. I've been working with Middle Tennessee, and that should be hopefully done in the next 7 business days. Then we can finish the actual widening project and the sidewalk portion going into the park. Lake Van Trail, I gave you some of the prices and the costs associated with the staff taking on the project. Looking for a little bit more guidance on how y'all want to pursue that project. I know you talked about maybe the dome loop or something like that, but I'd like to get a good consensus, I guess, of the board on what kind of direction. And I can put the price to per foot on any trail. I just need to know kind of what y'all want to do.
Well, the last we spoke was the distance from the dam going down Loblolly on the lower side, on the left side, to make a bulb down, and
Yeah.
you were going to check on that. So would you have anything to report back?
I'll have to look at the dome loop and get the footage. I have the footage.
Not up to the dome.
Loblolly.
Yes,
I
sir.
have the footage. I'll have that for the next meeting.
That would be the only comparison for us to be able to give you a better
I
direction.
do have the footage straight to the dam. It's like 353 feet.
Okay.
I just need to add that additional portion in.
Okay, just
I'll
report
have that for
next.
the next
Thanks.
one.
My question on it, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, the oldest thing on this project that we've had on the books besides the Lake Van Trail is the Triangle School. I see nothing going on either one of those at this time. Have we done the price? Lake Van Trail was approved 4 years ago. It was budgeted 4 years ago. We've been talking about it here. Is there any progress on a cost analysis for doing that, moving forward with that right there?
That's what was done originally, went out to bid, and the bids came in $600,000+, and from what I understood,
Split them back off.
we split them back off to the Greenway portion.
But you've given them prices on
Yeah.
the staff doing it.
I gave you all the prices last meeting on this, if the staff was to complete it, minus the prefabricated bridge that goes across the dam.
Okay, so do we have a price on that right now?
Yes, I believe, I don't have those notes from me
It's
this
about
time.
124,000.
Yeah,
materials.
just
And-
materials.
And then the park board made a recommendation that we sent back to ask him to evaluate the dam and Loblolly lower, just to get $1, so we can talk about which way moving forward is where we're at right now.
And I'm still working with, there's apparently a dam consultant that limits to what you can do, and with some administration changes, we're trying to track that person down.
So can we have these estimates by the next meeting?
Yeah, sure. The next item on the list is Triangle School. I think Don just has a little bit of an update for that project.
Excuse me, did you go over the Bowie Park Forestry, or say that Keith was
Oh,
going to
sorry.
go over that?
Bowie Park Forestry, that's going out to bid, I believe, this week. We had a meeting last week, and it should be going in the paper.
Thank you.
Now to Triangle School.
I thought that bid was open on the 10th,
Not that one.
the forestry.
Not that one, no. That was yours, wasn't it? Second. We opened a auditor bid around the second, so that, we were preparing the document, Larry and I had him review it, and by the time we got it all squared up, we're just now getting it out in the paper, so it should be in the next 3 weeks, we should need it opened up. I don't have it in front of me,
Oh,
but.
I just have a note that you said
Right.
next meeting, so
Right.
I was hoping it was
got pushed
open.
back a little bit, but.
Thank you. Triangle?
Triangle School.
I have emailed Alan Lowe to give us the set costs for all the plans to be drawn up. We've been going back and forth with some emails. He's asking some questions on, do we need contract administration and things of that nature. I've answered all his questions. I'm looking back, hopefully I'll get that cost back by tomorrow, so we'll know what the cost of the plans will be. The master development plan is on the planning commission's agenda for next Tuesday night to take action on the rezoning or the amendment to the master development plan. So once the planning commission takes action on the master development plan and makes a recommendation to the board of commissioners, it'll be on y'all's first meeting in July.
That is positioned to be canceled because it's on the 4th of July. Could be called special, but it's not on the 4th of
Well,
July.
we can, once they make the action, we can speed it up and go ahead and get it to your all's next agenda for this month,
For the 20th.
for the 20th.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
And the farmers markers rolled into that as well, if I'm correct, Don, the renaming of the buildings. Evergreen Park, we're about,
Can I back up just 1 second on the farmer's market? At what point, because I know it's getting close to a time to where they're going to start opening back up and having their truck farming going on over there, at what point or can we allow them to occupy some space over there just for their vehicles to start selling from over there rather than over the county?
Well, we don't have a parking lot, we don't have an entrance to the property, it would be kind of
That's what I'm asking.
cumbersome to get in there. I don't know what kind of timetable it would take. You'd have to prove money to go ahead and put it out for bid to get a building put up. I mean, we could put a shed out there for $5,000, a carport, but that's not gonna be
Well,
what
no,
we
but
need.
if right now, they don't have a carport now.
Right.
Just if they had someplace to put their.
Just put them a gravel parking lot.
Gravel parking lot there.
If Don says that'll be fine, we can buy
Is
gravel,
that
put it out
temporary?
there.
Could that be done?
They'd have to come in off of Deer Ridge, they couldn't come off of Highway 100 because we couldn't get a curb cut
They pass it.
Ever or now?
now, that quick.
Okay.
Done.
Well, I mean, the city can do what the city wants to do, but our codes do not allow gravel parking lots. It requires them to be hard surface, paved or concrete with stripes and curb. But the city can give itself a variance and
What if it's
Can
just
carry on.
temporary parking?
It's still not allowed, but we could give a temporary.
Could we give a temporary variance?
yes, sir.
That need to be put on the planning commission?
If y'all want to proceed
Can we do that?
forward with that, yes, sir.
Hey, Commissioner Sutton, I had a question to you. Are they getting kicked out of the
That's
space they have?
My question.
So, and I don't know, I mean, I don't have a real preference on this, but I would worry about us spending money that we didn't have to, just to hurry them over. If they already have a space, you know, if they were losing their space, that would have been different, but, you know, I'd rather see us just kind of do it right. I know, you know, if there's no hurry, I don't know why we should
We can
spend
look
money
in-
on gravel and then have to turn around and, you know, spend money fixing it.
We can look into that. The problem right now is they're very limited to the space that they have over there, parking and everything else. I know it's on Saturday and Sunday, but normally we only see 1 or 2 or 3 vehicles over there selling. And the idea is to have it to where we have many over there selling, and they're just not gonna come over there with as much restriction as they have. I don't know how welcome they are on that county piece of property right there. I think that was just a temporary thing, according to Mr. Jones last time I talked to him. Vice Mayor, you got something to say about that?
Well, I mean, I got several complaints last year from the soccer association. And city manager knows about that as well, that when when they have soccer games, there's nowhere to park. And then the rec center, people complain because they can't even park to go in the rec center. And
So that's part of it
whatever they
right
wanna
there.
do,
They
so.
just,
The county has not told them no.
No.
The county has not told them they couldn't use it by any means.
The health department doesn't operate on Saturday, does it?
No, sir.
Why wouldn't we consider using the health department's parking lot, buy a couple of those carports for $500-600 a piece, and put them out there, and that would alleviate the parking problem coming off the rec center. The health department's not being used, it's Highway 100 frontage, and then if we're able to facilitate some permanent structure sometime in the future, we could either incorporate the carports that we already bought, or we could use them somewhere else. And, you know, I know the park could use them to park equipment under, if nothing else. So I suggest we contact the county if we wanted to move that far and do that, and use the health department parking lot. We're having to do the field maintenance on it anyway.
That's really a good
Good
idea.
exchange.
Yeah.
really is.
But see, and we could buy carports if that's something, but why couldn't they just bring their own tents? I
I
don't know why
don't-
the city has to provide
I agree with that. I don't even-
coverage.
the only thing that this was gonna cost us was some gravel to get them off the road temporarily, to get them in there, get them in.
It
That's a
should-
great, but that's a great idea.
There should be a lot more parking area and/or vendor space at the health department, and it's not being used. Am I right? I don't know that to be the case.
No
I've never been
weekends.
in the health department.
They don't
They're not
operate
open on
No
Saturday.
weekend, Saturday,
That's
Sunday, no.
excellent.
So that the county should be happy to get them off of that. And there's a lot of traffic there. The only, downside is a lot of traffic, people going in and out of the disposal place. But I don't know
There's
that,
a turning lane there, isn't it?
yes. I mean, I think if we could do that, that
As
would
a
be
temporary
better.
measure, I agree with you.
Can I request there that staff ask Ms. Jones, I know you've talked with her before, if that would be a favorable move and how many vendors would be of interest? And at that point, we can formulate a letter, and I'll be glad to work with you, sign that, and ask the county mayor to see if we can have that cooperation. I don't see that they would have a problem, but we definitely have to ask the
Right,
right
do the
channels.
right thing, and the only thing it would require on our part is to move that sign, so that's not a big deal. It's not a lot of movement.
It's just portable
Very
sign
minor.
anyway.
That's one,
Okay.
yep.
My staff could do that.
A call and then a letter, and then if it's something, we can bring it back to the board, maybe even at the next meeting.
I'll see if she's
If
down
it's
there
something
tomorrow or
of
Saturday.
approval.
I'll talk to her tomorrow or Saturday and see what I can.
Because if
find.
it's no one showing, we may not need to move, but if it's
I
two or
agree.
three people, let's see how we can service.
Right, and I think Commissioner Sutton's right. It's about to pick up. If it's going to pick up, it's about to get there.
And this will be an increasing,
Yeah. Oh, has it?
this will be an increasing bonus as we discuss the community garden and the Fairview High School and the projects that's going on. So this will keep evolving for the community and fresh vegetables.
Evergreen Park, I'm not sure if y'all been down there lately. We're probably, I got 80%. We're getting close to wrapping the fence up to keep the vehicles out of that area. We're gonna let that fence cure out and we'll get it painted real nice. I'm gonna bring some loads of gravel out there to create a parking spot, and that should be a really good, nice place for people to come. So I'm excited about that, and still, like I said, working with TWRA out there, they're to come out and shock the lake and tell us what we need to do and make recommendations. So that should be happening.
I've got to ask a question. You said gravel parking lot?
Well, it's currently a gravel parking lot.
now.
I'm just dressing up the area.
Okay.
Right now, it's mud and gravel.
It's the road. You got to put gravel down before you put asphalt. So I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get there.
No,
No,
just
we're
wait till we get to the
Okay.
veterans
Yeah.
part. Hang on. Hang on.
I didn't want to mess up that Don code.
The Bowie 5-year strategic plan, that's still in city development. The Highway 96, 100 roadscapes, I've talked to the design firm there. They're still in the NEPA. They got the notice to proceed off the NEPA, so we're getting further.
At
So-
what point do the designers or the drafters come into play? Because I know at one time, one or more of the commissioners had said, are we going to be able to see the vision and work through maybe their preliminary design of our layout?
Well, once we get the NEPA clearance from the state, they will give us a notice to proceed for design and engineering. And then at that time, we will get with Lawson Associates for them to come up with the design that will be presented to the board for them to look at and approve.
Thank you.
Y'all have an opportunity for input. Safe routes to school, we're still at the NEPA phase. The MPO active transportation, and also the MPO surface, we're still at the NEPA phases there as well.
The resurfacing project, those documents have been issued to the state by Griggs and Maloney, have been in contact with the state, and there's two phases of the environmental phase, and we're having some trouble with them. Well, I don't say we're having some trouble with them, but they've got a backlog of projects going through, so it's taking them longer to get that environmental clearance. I was told by Kim Thompson last week that it was taking around 6 to 8 weeks to even get the environmental clearance for the state. And we're kind of up on a deadline, so we're trying to pressure them a little bit to get those projects pushed through, so we won't lose our funding from the NPO.
Carry on.
Okay, thanks. The welcome signs, I got it at 67%. I've talked with Matt Beata. He's going to talk to his mother about the property. We're going to work on that, and then I'll give an email to Larry and talk about the agreement, and then that'll be put before y'all, and we can have a new home for the third sign. City paving, part of that paving, the $100,000, I did a new evaluation of King Road. Of King Road, we basically did from where it meets Highway 100 up past the approach into the high school. And based on my calculations there, looking for my sheet, it was roughly $31,000. And that's something we'd like to get going quickly if that's something that y'all would wish. It's $31,721 based on the estimates I had for Bowie Lake Road widening project. But that would be roughly a quarter mile up to the high school entrance, and that's one of the roughest spots there.
And that money would be coming from where, Kevin?
From the $100,000 we have in the street aid.
Street aid.
And I can work with Larry on putting that bid together. That shouldn't be a huge issue.
So you've already, the 31,000 estimate is a bid that you've gotten?
No, it's me getting, it's from the bids from the road widening project at Bowie Lake Road.
Okay, just in comparison of the
their
footage.
comparisons, which are actually, and added some to that, so it should be a little bit higher than I think it will be.
What are the wishes of the board on the request of King Road?
Motion to solicit for bids.
Second.
Any other discussion?
What we do, we would mill it down, pave it, some into the driveways as well to keep rocks from rolling down, coming in, and also replace the yellow jackets that were put on by the class of 2020.
And I'll work with the school to get that. I believe they have, Randy said they have a stencil they use. We can work with them and get that in the bid package as well. But we'll use paint that will last longer than the paint they're using currently.
You're gonna take that millage over to Evergreen.
Well, that's part of it. And on the next line item, oh, you're still in the.
No, we're in the middle. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's an approval of King Road moving forward on bid for
That's a good thing. Now,
resurfacing.
now, under that same line item, and I believe that'll roll into the Veterans Memorial Park, we also have the $70,000 left. We could possibly look in paving, and you can bring up that a little later, into Lake Evergreen. City transportation plan. Anything?
Let me visit that a minute. In the city paving, you had made suggestions of other streets in meeting 2 ago, I believe. What about all those streets that are public streets, priorities?
Well, we've got the two that are part of the MPO, Cumberland
Okay.
and Cox. Now, we still have $70,000 left. I'll have to go back and evaluate the distances and see what we can use with that $70,000.
Because the Veterans Park is at the end of Loblolly Lane, which is the industrial park.
Actually, it's the end of New Hope and Black Pine.
I'm sorry, New Hope, you're right. But that's public streets that you would be extending to the cul-de-sac. Is that what your 70 thought is for Veterans Park? Okay, I would just think the priorities of the city streets would come before something, but that's for discussion. Any thoughts there? Comments? Okay, Kevin, go ahead.
All right. City transportation plan, Don?
We're still working with Riggs and Maloney. Will our city engineer come back with the transportation plan? Hopefully, we'll have that within the next month to bring back to you.
And I know that's a large figure. That was the roads creating excess around versus just 100 highway. Is that where some of that money can be used as well? I mean, I know it's a big, the street aid money.
$15 million figure?
Yeah. Is the street aid money that he's saying is left over, is that some that can be used for this
Well,
project also?
The
Are they two different ones?
transportation plan is just getting the plan together, saying these are the streets that we feel like we're going to need to build in the future to accommodate our growth and to alleviate some of the traffic congestions that we anticipate on Highway 196 to get people around the city a little bit better. That's what the transportation plan that we're talking about is. And that includes the streets that we've talked about in Town Center. That will be part of that plan as well. But other streets in the city that we feel like we need to build or propose to build as development occurs in the city.
Let me ask my question direct. Would that be coming out of street aid, or would we be having street aid money to help us towards that?
We would have street aid money, but
Transportation.
it would be very insignificant amount compared to
Because of
what
the
the amount
large
of the roads would cost to construct.
Okay.
But every 4 years, we're allocated money from the highway administration for local transportation plans that we might be able to use for design and things of that nature,
Okay.
that we could pull from that funding. And I'm,
What kind of time frame when you say 4 years?
well, the money that we have right now is set to go away in September. They will give us another 4-year stipend in September, which we don't know what that amount is going to be yet. It could be the same amount that we had, $486,000. It could be more, it could be less, just depending on how much the highway administration, federal highway administration wants to allocate to the local municipality.
Excellent. There's money to come is my point. So that's
correct.
a long way of getting there for you, Kevin.
No, that's all right. City center overlay, Don?
And that's part of the, kind of part of one of the same, the transportation plan too.
And I can combine those two as well if we need to.
Unless y'all actually want to go in and redefine Town Center and amend the overlay.
I think we discussed that and we found that it wasn't a wise way to spend the money. Us looking at the parts of it that are viable is where we are now. And that could be in a workshop or a planning commission directive.
City survey, still ongoing in city development. And then the last item is the Windstream City networking. Should be online no later than the 15th of the month. They've pre-installed everything at the fire station, at the Nature Center. They'll be pre-installing the 12th of this month at City Hall. The only building that's currently on hold is mine until we get the utility relocates done, and that shouldn't take very much to do. So we should have the Windstream phones, the emails, and everything set up, hopefully mid-month this month.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the board?
I've just got one, just to go back to the city manager. I know that we had discussed on Lake Vance Trail, since the main reason we're doing this in the first place is making handicap accessible so that the people with disabilities can use the entire area around through there. It's not for the fit and people, mountain climbers, just for people that can't get around there on that side. And I think we had some instruction earlier about checking on grants. Have we had anything on that?
I haven't heard, oh, go ahead.
I'm actually working with the GNRC, Tanya Blades, and trying to lump our actual projects that are in the parks and greenways and see what federal grants we can go after or state grants we can go after to possibly fund some of these
There's
projects.
got to be some out there
Yeah.
for that.
We've been trading emails. We're supposed to have a phone call tomorrow, so
Just to keep them advised on that.
I'm using resources that we can find. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good job.
Moving on to new business. 8A, discuss and or take action, Bill number 2013-10. Ordinance 805.
Ordinance 805 is an ordinance to annex certain property located at 2950 Fairview Boulevard, herein described below, and to incorporate same within the corporate boundaries of the city of Fairview, Tennessee, belonging to Jerry E. Kelly and wife Karen A. Carey. All other property proposed for annexation lies within the city of Fairview, Tennessee growth boundary. Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8B, discuss and or take action to refer the plans of service on the property located 2950 Fairview Boulevard to the Planning Commission.
It's an ordinance to annex certain. Nope, it is.
We just need a motion to approve sending it to the Planning Commission for plans of service, right? Mm-hmm. So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. 8C, discuss and or take action, Bill 2013-11, Ordinance 806.
It's an ordinance to annex certain property located at 2931 Fairview Boulevard, herein described below, and to incorporate same within the corporate boundaries of the city of Fairview, Tennessee, belonging to Russell Spicer and wife Peggy Spicer. All the proposed property for annexation lies within the city of Fairview, Tennessee growth boundary. Move for approval.
Second.
We have first and second. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to make a comment here, and they are here. This land is being proposed to be given to a church, and that church within the next month should know for sure whether or not they're going to utilize that property possibly for that reason. We are prepared tonight to vote for the first reading of this. Should this not go through with the church, his donation, he possibly will want to withdraw this before second reading. I just wanted to make everyone aware of the situation.
We have a first and a second. Other discussion? All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
I would
Other
like-
discussion?
You're here, so is that what you're agreeing to? He spoke, okay. Okay, great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8D, discuss and or take action to refer the plans of service on the property located 2931 Fairview Boulevard to the Planning Commission. Motion,
Move for approval.
Second.
discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8E, discuss and or take action on appointments and or reappointments to boards and commissions. Terms expire June 30th, 2013. We have presented to us tonight for the Beer Board one opening and an application from John Hall. Are you present? Would you like to approach the podium? What are the wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion, comments, or questions?
Let him just tell about himself, I guess.
There be no questions. We'll just ask you to make a statement.
Okay. I'm a lifelong member of the Fairview community. I feel it is my civic duty to serve in whatever capacity that the board sees fit.
Excellent. Thank you for your volunteerism. We have a motion and a second. There be no other discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Welcome to the Beer Board, and Miss Teresa is your contact person. You may want to get her information and her get yours before you leave if you do not have that already.
We have a meeting on the 10th at 7 o'clock. All right.
Yes, sir. Monday, the
Monday.
10th. Is it 6 or 7? It's 6 p.m.
O'clock.
I was going to say we have another one at 7. All right, second is E2, the Board of Zoning Appeals. There are 2 openings that expire June 30th. There are 2 applications presented. It's Lisa Anderson and Wayne Lohman.
Move to approve.
Is Mr. Lohman here? Hello, sir. Ms. Anderson? Yes. First and second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The next item is E3, Industrial Development Board. There is one opening, and we do not currently have an application to fill that. The Industrial Development Board meets as needed. If you have an interest of serving for the city of Fairview, please contact Ms. Teresa at 799-2484.
Could we possibly move that to the end in case there's someone that's, I think some of these boards.
At this
we
point, there'll
have-
be no action because there's no app, so if that comes up, we'll be glad to open that up
Mike
if you
and
want to
seats.
ask someone that question. Yes,
Okay.
sir. Park Commission, there's one opening and one application. Dr. Neil Rice, are you present? What are the wishes of the board?
Second.
First and second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 8.5, Planning Commission. There are 3 openings, and we have been submitted 5 applications. I'll read out the names, and I'll request that the applicants maybe make a statement of interest prior to us moving forward. We have Ms. Lisa Anderson, Ms. Marcia Elliott, John Hall, Wayne Hall, and Matt Beata. Would you each approach the podium and make a statement of interest?
Thank you. I'm Lisa Anderson. Sorry, my voice is out. I have been a citizen of Fairview for 20 years. 8 years ago, I decided that I wanted to make a difference in our city and want to see it grow properly and support our city and listen to the citizens and just make a difference. I've been serving on the Planning Commission for 7 years and would like to continue serving. I have, as on the 7 years that I've served, we've seen just a lot of exciting new growth in Fairview, and I've been a part of that and would like to continue, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Marcia Elliott?
Good evening. I've been serving on the Planning Commission only 3 months, and I've appreciated the opportunity to learn so very much. A few months back, when I first started, I was engaging in a word study of the word wisdom and its etymology, and I was surprised, even in the preliminary Wikipedia word search, to find that it's used 222 times in the Hebrew Bible, and they have about 6 main themes. And the 4 themes that have been consistent throughout antiquity are these 4: building and establishing civilization, that's considered core to the word wisdom; elevating life; safety and avoiding misery; and exceeding the value of gold and silver. And I thought, what a better way to summarize what y'all do here in this room and what the Planning Commission tries to do when they refer and recommend things to this board. And if you see that there's a way that I can be a part of elevating the life of this community, increasing public safety, avoiding misery, and attributing and contributing to values that are greater than gold and silver, I hope that you'll reappoint me.
Thank you very much. Mr. John Hall?
Thank you. My intention of applying for the Planning Commission was to best use my abilities in measuring different odds, measuring different sides of an argument. That is what I do for a living, is measure different sides of different arguments. So knowing that going into the Planning Commission would be a natural move, and it's also a way to be more involved with the city that allows me to serve regularly, because I know the beer board, which thankfully I was just approved for, is not very regular. So I'd like to regularly serve the city in any capacity that I can. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wayne Hall?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. The driving force on my resignation in December was uncertainty on my health. And since that seems to be resolved, I have so many citizens that keep coming to me wanting me to reapply for the planning commission. And with my experience through the years and a close personal friend, a banker here in Fairview, had a good conversation with me the other day. So it laid on my mind that I might ought to try it one more time. And driving through the city one night, looking around at all that possibly that I was a part of the approval process through the years, I felt that I missed it more than I thought I did. So I'm willing to serve if y'all are willing to have me back on the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Matt Piata?
Good evenings, Commissioner. Please excuse my informal attire this evening. As you may know, I've been on the Planning Commission 6 years now. The wealth of knowledge I've experienced over that time has just grown. I would like another term to kind of continue to push the standards of Fairview. I think highly of the area. I'm very proud to drive down Highway 100 and think that I had a hand in the shaping of the city. And I would just hope that you guys truly consider my application. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate all your willingness to serve. I would like to ask for a ballot vote at this time. We have 3 openings, 5 applications, and I'd ask each commissioner to put their 3, and we can start there. Nope. Mine's blue.
Yes, ma'am. Come on.
I do have messy handwriting, but that wasn't mine.
Paper shrunk.
Ran out of ink.
But thanks for thinking of me, Teresa.
There's some being all right. My bad.
Are you voting on Mickey Mouse? Tony Cheshire.
My writing was not that bad. Just incomplete.
Mm-hmm. Can I go to the next one? It's an easy one. In respect for your time, we're going to move on. The Tree Commission has 2 openings. There's 1 applicant, Larry Richards. Are you present? What are the wishes of the board?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
One of the 2 positions has been filled on the Tree Commission. They meet once a month. If you have an interest of serving the city, they do discuss subdivision, landscaping, and commercial landscaping, and working with the Planning Commission directly. If you have an interest in that, please contact Ms. Teresa at City Hall, 799-2484. The Board of Adjustment and Appeals, there was one opening, and there was no applicants. So we do have additional places. If you'd like to serve the city of Fairview, please contact Teresa at City Hall or City Manager Andrew Hyatt. Yes, sir. Because your numbers were on both sides, I wanted to make sure I didn't read it incorrectly. We have a tally back, and the 3 Planning Commission appointees is Mr. Wayne Hall, Mr. Matt Beata, and Ms. Lisa Anderson. Congratulations and welcome to the Planning Commission. If you have any questions or concerns, you may talk with Ms. Teresa about any of the appointments and the scheduled meetings. Any other comments or discussions on the appointments of boards?
I'd just like to thank Ms. Marcia.
Oh, we're going to vote. Is that what you're going to tell me?
No.
Okay.
We had 2 people that put in for the planning commission, Mr. John
That was what we were going
Hall
to say that. Yes, sir.
and Ms. Elliott. And
Yes, sir.
I'd be interested to know if they were, we have several that we didn't have positions for, if they would be interested in being appointed to one of those other boards in lieu of that.
Okay, thank you. We're going to address that. We have a opening for the Industrial Development Board. We have an opening for the Tree Commission, and we have an opening for the Board of Adjustments and Appeals. Would either Ms. Marcia Elliott or Mr. John Hall like to submit the application for one of those 3 boards? Any specific?
All of them?
The Tree Board meets once a month.
Tree board meets once a month.
Industrial
The other
as
2 meet
needed.
As needed.
Board Adjustments as needed.
Tree board.
Okay, we have an application submitted on the Tree Commission.
Move for approval.
Second.
Discussion? I probably should have asked Miss Elliott before we did that.
Yeah.
What is your interest, Miss Elliott? Do you have an interest, ma'am? Okay. We have the Industrial Development Board and the Board of Zoning Appeals. Would either of you say you would be interested in those boards? And then we'll back up and vote. Probably not to justice, so what I would suggest is if it's not something that you have a direct understanding and interest, that we put those on the next agenda, because they're empty seats anyway. It's not like we need someone there or not there. So my suggestion would be to investigate that with city manager and understand the requirements and the type of projects that they work on.
Mayor, if I can make a suggestion that, since we've got 2 people here that are verbally interested in it, and we don't have anybody else that has applied for us to repost this and ask for people who are actually, who are interested in it this time. I know they didn't put in for it this time, but this way we have 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever people may be interested in it this time, that we defer this to the next meeting with some advertising.
Okay, but I need to ask Larry, how do we back out of the movement that went towards Mr. Hall without inquiring on Miss Elliott? That was not correct. How do we back out of that, please?
I'll remove my motion.
Remove your motion?
My second.
Okay, and everybody with the willingness that,
So the motion would be to defer.
okay? Now we have 2, and I hear what you're saying
Same
there.
thing.
Have to defer, just add it to the next agenda.
We have 2 applicants for the tree board,
And whatever comes in the next 2 weeks.
and, well, no, we can fill that position tonight. We have 2 people willing to do so, and 1 position open. Let's fill it tonight and
Yep,
get the rest of it
You can fill it,
applied out.
or you can re-advertise. That depends on what the board wants to do.
Okay,
Well, and I don't know, this is just a thought, but I think we kind of put them on the spot whether or not I don't know, I mean, you verbally said you're interested, but I don't think it'll hurt anything to go, and then we might get other applicants anyway. Just my thought.
So the remaining positions, the request of the board is to defer for additional solicitation and to put it on the next agenda.
That would be my motion.
Okay? And we have a motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Does Ms. Elliott and Mr. Hall understand what action we took?
Good luck if
We-
you do.
No, we took the action that all three boards are still open. We have 2 current applying applications for the tree board. We're going to solicit out and have it on the agenda of the June 20th and have those 3 appointments and discussion for those 3 boards.
Both of your applications have been accepted for that position.
So you would be asked to come back on the 20th for us to address that, and then hopefully we'll have other applications to fill the other vacant board seats. Is that okay? Everybody understand? If you don't, please see me or City Manager Hyatt after the meeting. Moving on to 8F, discuss and or take action on State of Tennessee Department of Transportation contract for state route mowing and litter.
We currently have a contract with TDOT to pick up trash and to mow, and we get reimbursed $32,000 a year. The contract's expiring at the end of this month. The new contract needs to be executed by the city attorney and the mayor, and just wanting to get approval to continue that contract.
I make a motion for approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is that the same thing we got last year? Did we calculate any cost increases into that?
No, they have not made any adjustments to their rates.
It's on their side.
But I am working on other line items to add to this that we could potentially pick
But I
up.
know there's going to be an increase in costs, huh?
Right now, there's nothing. The rates have stayed flat over the fiscal year. 'Cause I've had-
That's the money that they would be paying someone to just cut the right of ways twice a year, probably.
No, well, that would be 3 times a year just for the 4 lanes. And then it's the trash pickup on Highway 100 and Highway 96.
They'd even threatened to just pull back the trash pickup and not pay us to do that, and we, hey, no, come on, you can't. So
I pushed on my end.
Kevin
and
pushed real hard.
They would have inmates out here, and we do a whole lot better job.
Lucky we did more business.
So they're going to pay us to do what we already been doing, and we do a really good job at it.
Y'all do a good job.
Great. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We may have double voted, but you got an approval. Thank you. G, discuss and or take action on Veterans Memorial Park. City Manager Hyatt.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. As we were out there working on Evergreen Lake and the things we were doing out there, we've extinguished our $5,500 we budgeted with fencing and picnic tables and benches and some of the other things we've done out there. It kind of struck me as Commissioner Sutton had asked me, I guess it's been about a year ago, about some way we could honor veterans, and it just hit me when I was out there, such a nice location now, that maybe we could designate an area out there, kind of like the grassy area as you come in on the left on Black Pine Road, I believe that's the name of the road, as a Veterans Park, and we would move forward to do some things out there to get some pricing on flagpoles, on benches, on maybe a monument at some point. Some fencing out there to protect it from cars driving into it, and just make it a kind of a reverent little area for those who have served and those who have died for us, to get us to where we are sitting tonight. So it's kind of twofold. It's kind of, to designate that as a Veterans Park, as the City of Fairview Veterans Park, and also to allow me to get some information to come back to you with cost of flagpoles and flags and lighting and that type of stuff.
Move to approve.
Second.
In discussion, I would say, please specify your motion. Your motion is to approve the naming.
The naming and the solicitation of further expenditure information.
It would be Veterans Park
Thank you.
at Lake Evergreen. Evergreen Lake would be
Yes, sir.
the term.
Just clarification. Any other discussion?
Just to point something out to you, that the circular thing that they have in Franklin, have you seen that? Where
Yes.
the bricks are, things
Yes.
like that. It doesn't look like it'd be extremely expensive, but it's very nice.
Right, and some
Just
of
a
the
thought.
signage that we've done and things, I mean, there's probably some things we can do internally. That's why we want to get some money to see how much it would cost
I
and
think
come
it'd be
back and
great.
go from there. It could be money that just came out of our maintenance fee, maintenance budget out of the park, so it could be low enough. But flagpoles aren't real expensive, but we could do one, maybe one a year later or something, but we'll bring some information back.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Discuss and or take action on recommendations from budget workshop and/or town hall meeting. Town hall meeting was an open public meeting discussing the 2013-2014 budget. It was open discussion, and we welcomed any public comments. Ms. Crystal Pewitt?
And one of the things we want to do is we also, and Crystal will bring that up, but we want to schedule the first reading as a special called meeting on Monday, June 10th at 7 o'clock or immediately following the beer board meeting.
We have a tree board meeting at 7, and so we're already double teaming rooms and chamber offices and people.
And the beer board probably won't be done within an hour.
Exactly, we're already crisscrossing.
It may be. It will be it should be within an hour.
How about, what would anyone's board's scheduling for 5:30 Monday? Is that possible?
I won't be in town. I won't be there under any circumstances.
Under any time, okay.
I don't think we can change the beer board meeting now.
No, I'd say 5:30 for this special called meeting. 5:30? 5:30?
I don't know that I could be there without looking at a schedule, and I don't have it right now in front of me. I mean, I like the idea of getting it all done at once.
You got planning
Don't get
commission
me
Tuesday,
wrong.
right?
Can you, let's go ahead and schedule 5:30 for a special called meeting in the response for a first reading of the budget.
Okay, and
Well,
tax
I
rate.
want to be here.
Reason I was saying going is if a time frame we can reschedule, but if she can send out in print,
I have it to give you tonight.
yes, if she has that to give us where we have 4 days prior to that, would that be okay? Or would
Well,
you really
without-
not like the timing to be that?
Well, without looking at my schedule, and that is something I can know tomorrow morning, is on my computer, and I can let you know, but to make the decision right now and to go ahead and put it forward, I want to be at that meeting. So basically, if we sit here and say it's going to be 5:30, if I give you notice tomorrow on whether or not I can get off, then we could
We'd
change
have to schedule it,
but,
reschedule it.
Reschedule it.
If we do,
My comment would be, I think all five of us need to be here for budget hearing.
Okay, then when would be the next opportune time?
So reschedule.
When would be the next opportune time? Calendar's in front, you've got Monday out, Tuesday the 11th?
Thursday, I'll be back on Wednesday. It'd be Thursday, whatever that is.
Thursday the 13th would be the first opportune time of all five in,
It's the
that
first,
gonna work on the-
Mayor, it's the first reading, and I don't have an issue
It's
with it
Friday,
being
the last
conducted
day of the month.
without me
Or
being
last-
there. I mean, we still gonna have to have two readings, so the second reading, I could, if anything changed from where we were, I would be, I could express myself at that point. I don't have any problem with going and having first reading. I thought we were gonna do first reading tonight. so.
me too.
Is that
Well,
going,
we
is
talked
that going to
about it.
interrupt the time frame of the space?
if
We'll have to have another special.
Thursday's the
I can
latest
do
you can
Monday.
do it.
I just
Okay.
We'll
remember.
retract to Monday at 5:30
Alan's not going to.
here at City Hall.
He said he's fine with that.
I'm okay. It's first reading, so if there was a problem, I could, at second reading, raise the issue.
If you can get that in public announcements, Monday, June 10th, 5:30 at City Hall, first reading of budget 2013-14
And tax rate.
and tax rate. Any other comments?
Do you want to set the second reading now or wait until then?
We can while we're looking at
It
schedules.
would have to be 25th, 26th, 27th, or 28th, because it has to be 14 days between them. That would also be a public hearing day. And Larry can correct me, but we'll have to schedule 2 special meetings for the same night, one end and one begin, because the budget has to pass the second reading. And yeah, but you have to pass the second reading of the budget and close the meeting before you can pass the second reading of the tax rate, per Mr. Cantrell.
The statute says you you can't pass the tax rate to support the budget until you have a budget passed. So you close the one meeting and immediately after it open the other one, and you'll be okay.
The tax rate could be in July though, couldn't it?
It could be, but it can't be any sooner than the second reading of the budget.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I think the comptroller wants it in by June 30th if they can get it.
I have to send it 15 days after you pass the final reading of the budget and the tax rate. So last year, we did the tax rate as two separate readings, and they questioned why we were so late. They didn't necessarily say it was incorrect, but they said we could have read them at the same time and not delayed it. So that's the reason I asked Larry to do it a different way this year, so that I can get it to them in a timely manner.
For the second reading, for the second meeting, she's requesting, would you look at your schedules for the 26th or the 27th?
25th will work also if that's,
That's the 15th day.
yeah, it has to be 14 days technically.
Thank you. 25th, 26th, 27th. I'm open any evening.
Me too.
Anyone else? Does anyone have any evening they're not available, 25th, 26th, 27th? Not the 27th, okay, so we got 25th, 26th? I feel like I'm doing an auction.
Let's do the,
Sold.
well, let's just stick with the Monday and do the.
No, got to do the
24th.
Tuesday or Wednesday, huh?
Tuesday or Wednesday.
25th, 26th.
And we can do any time as long as nothing else.
But we'd have whatever,
7 Tuesday or 6 Wednesday.
okay. What's your schedule for 6 o'clock?
I haven't made my schedule yet, so I can make
Okay.
it. With that kind of notice, I do my schedule,
But
so I can make
time-wise,
it,
can you,
but-
are you still on a time restriction of 5, 6, 6:30 or?
Well, no, I can do it at 5:30 if I have time. So, yes, anytime you want to do it.
All right. 5:30 Wednesday, the 26th. Any opposition? Wednesday, June 26th, 5:30 at City Hall. Second reading of the 2013-14 budget. Any comments?
And public hearing.
And public hearing, thank you. As long as y'all got it. Y'all got it.
And are we going to also do the tax rate that night
And
too?
immediately after it, the second reading of the tax rate.
And what was, it was 6, you said? Or
5:30, Any other requests, Ms. Pewitt?
No, ma'am, that's it. Thank you.
Do you have everything you need, Ms. Pewitt?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And after the meeting, I'll give you the ordinance that I prepared.
Okay, thank you. And the copy of the budget that you have. Is that what you were going to give to all of us?
Well, I only printed the ordinance, but I can get you a copy of the budget also, because I thought that everybody took one last week that wanted it.
Well, let me
But I
ask,
can-
does anybody need the current 13-14 budget that we are going up for
Changed it
first?
from our-
Yeah.
what she
From the
passed out at
workshop.
yeah.
Just wanted to confirm. Anybody need?
I
Okay.
got mine.
Okay,
It's
thank
covered then, thank you.
you. And I will email it to you tomorrow just to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comments from staff or board? Okay. I discuss and or take action on library request from county. We have been presented the opportunity to cooperate with the county for an expansion of the library here in Fairview. They presented us materials a couple months ago, and they have requested that Fairview participate financially in assisting. Do you have those exact numbers in front of you?
164 and change, I think. 164.
No, 60 was the half. Yeah. The opportunity here is gaining more square footage in the library and being able to hopefully have more civic or meeting room space that the library would be able to cooperate with the citizens and civic organizations. So it definitely is a benefit to the citizens of Fairview. We've had several discussions of the opportunity, the reasoning, and the size of our current library is just smaller than what our circulation or usage is. And it's been brought to us, and it's something that I feel like we have asked for and wanted for a long time. So the county coming to us with an idea is just a wonderful way for it to say that we're all working together for the benefits of the people. Partnership. Thank you. I want to read to, I'm sorry.
I can wait.
Okay, conceptual budget. And to give you an idea, the square footage of the current library is approximately 3,850 square feet with 18 parking spaces. And they are looking to expand for a 20 by 40 foot room that would cover the patio area in the rear of the building. The addition would include, the project consists of adding 800 square feet to the existing facility. It's budgeted to be a concrete slab, brick veneer structure, standing seam metal roof, and interior finishes to match the existing library. The addition would cost the following: construction costs $116,000, design costs $9,000, other costs $3,000, with a total project cost of $128,000. What are the wishes or comments from the board?
Mayor, I just have a couple things.
Okay.
I'm not in construction, so I don't know, but 800 square foot room added to an existing structure, $130-something thousand sounds high to me.
It's 116 is the construction cost.
Is that, I mean, you're in construction, is that a fair price for that?
Your residential cost is approximately $100 a square foot or thereabouts, so a construction of a commercial building, if you do 800 square feet, that's $80,000.
Not $116,000.
Well, you add in addition.
$2.50 a foot, and I think that's for metal roof. I think I mean, did they get those bids from somebody that's actually going to?
Conceptual budget, no, sir. At this point, they're just asking if, when, what, and how would Fairview participate in the partnership of the expansion. I believe there's much more discussion behind this. I believe they're asking, are we favorable? And if so, do we have a projected amount that we would say, we like the idea and we're supportive of a percentage? That doesn't mean $1.
I have no problem paying for half of it.
I believe that's all they're asking for at this time. Yes, sir.
But I would be much more, I mean, I think we could get the thing built for half of those figures right there.
Well, I have a concern about the total cost being high for what we're doing. I renew my consideration that I think us paying half is probably too much, and here's why. The Fairview community is about 15,000 people, about 50% in the city, 50% outside the city. The folks outside the city pay county tax, they don't pay city tax. The folks inside the city pay city tax and county tax. So from where I sit, it seems to me that the folks in the city are paying more for the service, the expansion of the library, than the folks outside of the city. And I'm not comfortable with the completion of the data to make that determination that we should be paying more. I understand that they sent us some data about number of people going in there, but and I haven't had a chance to review specific, but I don't think it told us whether they were city residents or not, and I don't think it told us how many of them were multiple people. So given that all we have to go on right now is the percentage of what we know is in and outside in the service area, then I think that you have to consider that the city folks don't need to pay more for the service than the county folks. So I don't think I think half is where you start, but I don't think that it's sort of like the fire thing. I think we have to get more involved in it to determine what exactly is the fairest percentage. Now, having said all of that, then as long as we can take the money out of the school program like we believe we can, I'm all for doing it. But I think we ought to be, rather than just say, 50-50 is good, I'm not sure that's where we want to be.
Can we come to a place where we say, yes, we are fully willing to cooperate and partnership and discuss it further?
Yeah, I can agree with that, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it matters where the money's coming. I mean, always, that matter. So if there's something, have y'all looked into it anymore about whether the money can be used, the tax dollars for schools and a public library?
I have looked into it. I think it's part of the thing that would be with the county and then partnering it with it. The act that created this pool of money, the state legislature, is not very flexible for the county. It says it will be spent on schools and schools only. So if this was the county trying to get it for the library, I don't think they could. I don't think there's any question. Later on the budget tonight, you've got a donation to the schools to be considered. I don't think there's any question that you can take that from the school facilities. I think the way to keep this from happening, it's kind of a gray area. The city has much more lenience, much more leeway of what to spend on this money on, as long as it is a public project. And I don't think there's any question that the library is a public project. The only thing I would suggest, and I bring this up at this time so it won't be a surprise, I think you could plan on using it from the school facilities money, even though the library is not by any definition a school. But I think the library would be a reasonable assumption that a lot of school attending people use the library. What I would suggest is at the time you start to generate this money is that we pass a simple resolution asking the county commission to agree with us that you can take that money from the school facilities fund. They would be the only one that would be in a position to challenge it, and I don't think they will. I feel confident that it's broad enough for you to do that, but since a library is not a, quote, school, end quote, I think we can make a good case for the fact that a lot of the facilities there would be used by school students, but I would just feel much safer on the city's behalf if we send a simple resolution over, got the county board to bless that, and then come back and then proceed with what you need to do.
States the Board of Trustees is requesting that the city of Fairview contribute a portion of the expansion cost due to economic constraints. Perhaps this might not be the year for the project to become reality. However, this proposal could be used as a planning tool for expansion to occur within the next few years. We believe that sharing the expense of the project between the two government entities will make it possible for the addition to be funded. And again, they're looking for a willingness on the city of Fairview to participate in the expansion. And I'm 100% for that. And I think everyone else has expressed their approval as well.
Well, I mean, I definitely think there's a need for a library, but also, I love partnering with the county for this because it benefits both parties. But I would like to see where the money's coming from before we make these decisions. But yes, I agree that we could pursue. But also, I feel like that if y'all are saying it's a high bid, and I'm not going to pretend to know construction, without, I could go ask people, but, basic knowledge. If you're saying it's high, I hate to use the wording as half or 50% when we need to basically determine up to a certain amount.
Well, just to throw that out, if you I'm sorry.
Yes, I am.
I think we all want to see the project move forward, but we've got a couple of questions about it. What is the true cost, and where's the money coming from? To solve the problem that we discussed and Commissioner Sell had, and I'm in full agreement on it, that for the city to move along with that project, it should come out of the school fund money that we have now. It will not deter from what we're giving to the schools, as we did last year. There's still plenty of money in that fund. And to me, I can't think of a much better place other than the school itself to be used for education than a library. Mm-hmm. That would be my definition of a public library. But at the same time, I agree with him that it's a county library, and those funds are county funds. That's a tax from all the citizens sent back to us to use. So I think two things. If we can have more involvement in the planning and budgeting of the project, at 50-50, then we need to be 50% involved in it. And where's the money coming from? If we can get that approval from them, I don't have any problem at all with doing it.
Okay?
Did you read that there were only 18 parking spots? Is that what you read?
18 parking spaces?
Just more than that.
Well, there's double that, but.
Well, the upper parking space may not be addressed, oh, in 1997.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
that was
Before
prior to
they
the
did
new
back
parking
part,
lot.
yeah.
Okay, well, is there, other than the questions that have been presented, is there any willingness on action, or do we want to direct staff to get answers to our questions? Which I think is the wise thing.
I do too, I agree. I think we might as well have the questions answered
Okay.
first.
Because it's not something that's immediate.
No, this is something that we're going to move forward very methodically and, taking the time to make sure that we're all satisfied. City Manager Hyatt, may I request that we could get a confirmation, solid, from whomever, if it be the county commission, if it be the comptroller, TML, whomever, that the school, it would be the county, the school facility tax can be used on library expansion. I mean, I believe they'll know right out. And that's going to be a major question. As far as the estimated cost and the involved in planning, that would be when we are willing to say, yes, we're moving forward, we have some money, we're willing to stand up, let's talk about the next step in the project. Any other comments or statements from the board? Thank you. Discuss and or take actions on donations to schools. Says City Manager, is that Patty? Commissioner Carroll or City Manager Hyatt?
Either one, I mean.
Okay, City Manager Hyatt?
Well, I know that last year we donated approximately $80,000 to the schools to purchase some high-tech equipment, computers, media stuff, and we had talked then that we would not give any more than that each year, because that's about what we bring in each year, and I just wanted to get direction. We need to get direction on, I know the mayor had talked to some of the principals at some point over the last 6 months and gotten some wish lists. We got a new principal now at Fairview, at Westwood Elementary, so I don't know if she's been a part of the mix or not. She doesn't officially start to July 1st. I have not met her yet, but I saw it in the paper, so I don't know what information you may have.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
What was the name of the new principal?
That came from Janet,
Ms. Garcia out of Kansas.
yes. But no, basically, we're at the same point. I think the mayor has several requests. But I would like to suggest that maybe we just give them the amount and not designate necessarily for electronics. Because some of the needs the mayor received have been, widespread. And one was for security from Westwood, one was for music. The high school, the principal was talking about what she could do to the auditorium to bring the current auditorium up, and she's gotten bids for that. So I think it would be a wise idea to just basically say, we're going to divide the 80,000, give every school 20, do it even across the board. I know some other commissioners had mentioned that maybe we should do that. So, and not give besides, for educational kids' purposes, be spent on things that would benefit the kids.
Okay.
Do we know how many students we have, Commissioner Carroll?
And like Westwood has 500, yeah, altogether. Yeah, that's a good guess. Mm-hmm.
But my suggestion on it would be, the only fair way I can see to do it, in my mind, is take the 80,000, if that's the figure that we derive at, divide it by the number of students in each school, the number of students overall, and that be what each school gets. If they've got 500 students in there and that's 25%, they get 25%.
Based off last year's enrollment.
Yep. So because you got one school down that's got 300 kids in it, they're going to get 20,000. You got one school that's got 600 kids in it, they're going to get 20,000.
Right.
Doesn't go as far.
They don't go as far.
Falling.
I just think that would be, it's per the children.
For the children, yeah.
I agree with that logic. Following that logic, we could just appropriate $40 per student. based upon last year's enrollment at the end of the year. And that would, it might come out a little less than 80, it might come out a little more than 80,000, but it's going to be in the ballpark.
But Williams County's been growing by over 1,000 students a year for the last several years, and they're anticipating that going much higher.
So, and it gives us a methodology from now on with the
Yeah.
schools.
It goes like per student, per citizen thing. Can you tell me the amount on that facilities? The amount in the balance, yes, ma'am.
It was 277,000 at last audit, and there's roughly 90,000 that's coming this year. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I can go get it.
360,000, I think was the figure we looked at.
Okay, I just wanted a ballpark of where we were. Thank you. Okay.
And if we
So
did- if we-
$40 per student is what y'all are looking at? And that number 40 came about?
Taking 80,000 divided by
You
2,000.
think in 2,000, yeah, okay.
We'll get that number squared up.
Well, if it's divided by the number of students in schools, same thing.
Yeah, it just, you don't want, I mean, if you take it, whatever, 83,000 and some odd change that we did last year and divide that by you're going to wind up with some odd number, $38.16 or just $40, and that becomes our base from this point forward. Next year, it's $40 per student. It's in that ballpark of around 80,000, and if enrollment goes down, it'll be a little less. If enrollment continues to grow, we know it'll grow. But that makes it standard per year, and it also gives them, because I think you made an excellent point at the budget workshop, they don't know where they stand, so they don't know how they can plan for that money either. So it gives us kind of a history and a methodology that they can plan off of.
I don't disagree. I do agree with that. The only thing I would caution is that the year after year, and we find that that money for a new school or something is needed as a priority, that we're not setting for, it's a guarantee you're going to get it perpetual.
That's a good point.
Well, I just want to raise one question, and this comes from parents that complain each and every year that we're not getting what we deserve out here that the other schools, the other kids are getting around the county. If the county sees that we're doing this each and every year and starts defunding some stuff because they know we're giving money to make it up, something needs to be done at that point, because we don't get what we deserve out here. Everybody knows that. And if we start kicking in more and more, they may take more away from us because they think we're going to pay for it.
Well, actually, from sitting in the classes I did with the Williamson County for the ambassador program, they actually do the same type of concept, and every kid gets a certain dollar amount per year spent. So the reason some of the schools seem like they're getting more is really the PTOs that are funding and the other groups that are giving more. They spend the same dollar amount. Now, I can't.
On paper.
On paper, per
On
child.
paper.
Yeah, per child. I mean, I understand that the whole concept of people feeling like that maybe our facility is not the Taj Mahal of the ones in Brentwood, but also we have an older facility, and and things will come. But I do know, just from sitting in some of the meetings, they do have a dollar amount per child, and it's equal across the county. So
That figure, they have an equal dollar amount that they use, but I'm not just speaking of just facilities. We're talking curriculum and classes that are offered and stuff. We're not equal.
Well, it would be because we see we're not, and we're willing to step up for the children's sake, and that's why the caution of the perpetual, if it's not something we could, or always will, be able to assist.
Well, our safeguard is always that we have to do it annually.
Yes, sir.
We couldn't pass a budget today that went past next year because we have a change in commission, or we might have a change in commission. So the bottom line is I'm not promoting that we, pass something for perpetuity. I'm just saying that it gives us a basis for knowing where to start every year, so we don't have to start back at square one with what do we want to give and they have a way of saying, well, in the past, they've given us a approximately this amount of money when we're going to them and ask for it, then this is the ballpark that they are always coming from. I just think it makes communication easier. Maybe that's
Well,
better.
if we keep our balance high enough, our reserve balance high enough in that fund, we should be able to do that without any problem. Right now, to my understanding, and I may be wrong on this, Brentwood is the only other, Brentwood High School is the only other one that turns these funds back into the schools. The city of Brentwood only. So these other places, what they're doing with their money, I don't know. Apparently they don't need it, but it'd be great if they could increase, say if you don't spend this, we're going to send it somewhere else. It would be, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But
Well, I will tell you also, and I shared with this, with other commissioners, I went from meeting to meeting in this ambassador program, and they used Fairview as an example about stepping up, and that really, to me, made me proud because we were a stepping stone of this is what happens when you partner. These are the things you can get done. And, I feel like this is probably a great use for the money. There might be a school in the future that needs to be built, but for right now, if we could take, a little bit and give back to the schools and help offset some of these lacking, some of the things that each school needs, is a great way to spend the money.
I'd like to make a motion that the city manager confirm the number of students currently in the Fairview schools and bring it back to the commission for us to decide what type of monetary commitment we're willing to make at the next meeting at June 20th.
second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8K, discuss and or take action on Water Authority of Dixon County Crow-Cut easement inquiry. City Manager Hyatt.
Thank you, Mayor. The Water Authority has sent me a survey, just a questionnaire, 3 questions about the possibility of putting in a water line on Crow-Cut Road going out to one parcel, which is tax map number 046, parcel 75.00, which is down this way. Donna just told me, I was just asking the question about that, and we could get another one because this was only one lot. And we're just asking if you want us to go ahead and respond. They're just trying to do some planning. If water service was available to my property, I would be interested in connecting and using the public water system. Well, actually, we wouldn't be using it, but I don't know how you want me to respond, or if you even do. If water service was available to my property, I'm not interested in connecting now, but probably would sometime in the future. Or I would consider granting Water Authority Dixon County water line easement. I think that's what they're really wanting to know from us, but I wanted to get your guidance on whether to go ahead and fill it out or.
What's the tap fee?
It's $1,500.
$1,500.
It's right, what it is now, they say. That's the current tap fee, correct? Please note that this letter is for inquiry purposes only. These questions are not binding by either you or WADC. Provided the project is approved construction, formal legal documents for easements and taps will be presented and executed by both you and WADC.
They want an easement from us?
Correct. That's what I would assume.
I say that we give them the easement if they give us the tap.
Why would they give us the tap?
It's
It's a person, who owns the Crow-Cut Road property?
That I do not know.
They're coming through our property. We might as well have one.
Why would we, the tap is for the property owner.
But they want an easement. That's the one question that's on here is,
Who owns,
They'd have to get through that to get to this.
Bowie Park's on Crow-Cut.
They'd have to get through there to get to their customer.
Yeah, they want to extend their water line on further out.
When does it say they need
property,
it
or
back
are they
to?
asking for the easement?
Yeah, we need to see it on a map.
Yeah,
Okay.
are they asking to go through the middle of a property? Obviously a ditch easement, but
It's pretty general, with cost being one of the most obvious important considerations, obstacles such as other utilities, geographic features. The purpose of this letter is to inquire, would you be interested in water service if a line were constructed along your property? Would you assist WADC by granting a water line easement across your property?
we're favorable for progress, that's not the
Right,
point.
right.
But
So
for you
they're-
to ask us the question, we need to know what property are they asking to cross?
The only one we have is the park.
Well,
That's all we have out there.
They're not actually crossing, it'd just be in the right of way.
Right.
What they're, from my understanding, they're looking to expand their water distribution lines.
Oh, they're taking it all the way to Sugar Camp.
Yeah.
Is that,
And so they've got to cross city property to make the connections to continue where they want to go.
Onward progress.
But it is in the park property, so we only got a letter for one parcel of property.
We need taps.
So we've got other parcels that is in the area too, so we may be getting some other letters for those parcels as well.
Okay.
And they're just looking at a concept. That's the reason they said, right now, I don't think they've even got any plans drawn. They couldn't tell you where they're gonna cross. They're just asking if you're interested in the concept, was the reason they said it's not binding on us, it's not binding on them. Basically, are you interested in the concept of them expanding the water? You could get down to what you're gonna get out of it, taps or whatever, when and if they come up with a plan, says we want to go right here on this particular part. I don't think they know at this point.
No,
where they're gonna be
and
going.
that's why, in his statement of the TAP, we're not there yet. So to negotiate, we'll do this for you if you do that for us, I think at that point, we want progress, period. And $1,500 is not something that would be a taggling or a tug-of-war on this side of the game. They want to draw a line so we can have more services, that's great.
I think that's great too, but I know the chief jumped up for some reason other than, I didn't see anything in the seat over there, so.
We probably can't answer it with the document we have, but I'm interested to know, is the service line 2-inch, or is it a fire main 6-inch that's out there? Are they extending the fire main out? We would be all in favor of that, because as we annex out further in the future, our fire hydrants should already be there.
The reason I brought that up is so that we can include that in questionnaire, asking them a question going backwards.
Yeah.
Well, they said once they get this and they start formulating their plan, they'll bring it to us, so. And we don't have to respond. I mean, it's just something they
But
send
it's
out.
when we do, and just for questions.
Well, we do have to respond because they've sent it to us and that's partnership.
Correct.
I want to make a motion that we approve you completing that we are favorable for easements down Crowcut Road,
With further discussion.
with the questions being answered that have been delivered.
3 questions. One is, if water service was available by property, I would be interested in connecting and using the public water system. Current residential
Yes.
tap fee is $1,500. If water service was available by property, I'm interested in connecting now. I am not interested in connecting now, but probably would sometime in the future. I would consider granting WADC a water line easement. Those are the 3 questions.
If he responds with number 3,
Yeah.
we give him the easement, and we don't get anything.
No, you don't give an easement. You have to discuss it. It has to be an agreement and it has to be a monetary
It's not binding on
exchange.
either party. It says in the letter that it's not
No,
binding
it's not
on either
binding.
party.
There's an agreement. TVA, WADC, everybody has an agreement when they do an easement and sometimes it's a
Well, they
thing
have
and
to have, it has
sometimes
to
it's
be
not.
recorded.
Provided the project is approved for construction, formal legal documents for easements and taps would be presented and executed by both you and WADC.
Right.
You're not granting them anything now other than just saying we're interested, that's all.
So my motion was that he fills that out,
For number 3,
that he fills that out, that we are interested in and willing to discuss right-of-ways and easements. And we would hook up
Yes, or maybe
in a later date,
And I would.
if needed.
Just add on that this is not a pre-approval for the
No.
easement.
No. I have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Any discussion? In discussion, City Manager Hyatt, do you have any questions or are you? Go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item AL was added, the discuss and or take action of ordinance number 808. Got it?
Bill number 2013-13, ordinance number 808 is an ordinance to adopt a non-discrimination complaint procedure and a limited English proficiency LEP procedure for the city of Fairview, Tennessee. Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Is there any comments from staff of what this is and why this is a responsibility? Thank you.
This is for our compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. We have to be in compliance with Title VI for all of our grants that we maintain and receive. And I was contacted by the Title VI coordinator for the state, and she notified me that without having these two procedures in our procedure manual, we weren't technically in compliance. So she gave me 30 days, which is the reason that I have asked you to add it to the agenda at late notice. I apologize for that. But since we're not having the July meeting, and I wasn't sure about the special meetings, I wanted it added. We can push it to a special meeting if you desire to read it. It just simply is the procedure that if any of our subcontractors, consultants, or regular contractors feel that we have violated their civil rights, it's their complaint procedure, how they issue a complaint to us. And the limited English proficiency is how it tells who we will contact to make sure that we have someone that speaks your language and can translate with us. We do
As a contractual basis.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we have to name a person or a company or a person and their telephone number. We're working, apparently we don't have that currently. We're working on that, and City Attorney Cantrell said that as long as we have it before the second reading, we're okay. So right now, that's a highlighted section on page 4 that still needs to be completed.
Does it apply to the police department?
It's for their grant. Their
It
grant
it
ladies.
applies to the city. It applies to
Period,
everybody.
everywhere.
Right, here and everywhere, but the thing is, you can add that name because it won't change the meaning or the outcome of your ordinance.
Because it could change.
It
That
could
person
change
could
it,
change.
but I mean, you can
Right.
add it before the second reading, and any ordinance is fully amendable between first and second reading as long as it doesn't change the legal tenor of the ordinance, and that wouldn't. It's just the name of a person.
All right. Wild scenario. How does it work if somebody came to the podium right now and only spoke Spanish?
The way it normally works is you would get a language, there'd probably be a language service, a language line, and you would simply have to get a telephone available, and you call them up and say, I have Mr. Johnson here, he speaks Vietnamese, and they'll put a Vietnamese interpreter on there. Then they state what they're going to state, and the person makes that interpretation to you.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, the police department has that available now. Chief Harris, can you address that? Isn't there a program or something that's always available to law enforcement?
We can get it for court. They usually get it for attorneys, get it.
But
this has to be for the whole city. So
But there are lines available for that translation and communication.
Oh, yeah.
For police.
Well, no, it's available for.
For everybody. For
Everybody.
deaf, mute, I mean, any kind of
Dispatch. we can
handicap,
dispatch,
right.
But we have to have this ordinance for our grants.
Okay, that's.
But we
Oh,
should
yeah.
have already had the ordinance
Yeah.
according to Title VI.
It's not going to be that difficult a thing if someone were to come up here and speak that. We could arrange that.
She said I had 30 days to get in compliance with it, and she actually sent me their samples of the two procedures, and City Attorney Cantrell reviewed them and put together this ordinance.
So we ought to have a motion.
Do we? We do? We have a motion and a second of the discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Pugh. City Manager, items of discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I've got tonight is just a reminder that our July 4th meeting is canceled. Just want the public to know, we'll put a posting up for that on our website and on our Channel 19, but we just want to remind you. That's it.
Staff comments.
He's got a baby at home.
I'll be brief. We've had some really nice weekends, some long weekends. We're getting lots of brush requests. My first request from the citizens of Fairview is make sure you stack the cut into the brush within 3 feet of the roadway so my guys can get it from the right of way. If you have root balls or anything attached to the trunks of the trees or oblong shapes that cannot fit in the chipper, that will have to be addressed on their end prior for our pickup. The third thing is we've launched a new program. I've created it's a canary yellow flyer. If there's something that we see that we can't pick up, and we have the capability of checking a box saying there's a root ball, the root ball will damage the blades, that'll go in your mailbox. And if you've got any questions, you can always contact the city regarding that flyer. But that should address any other issues or any second callbacks on chipping and brush removal.
I think we already have a flyer like that. I've seen them in the past.
Yeah.
Ball too big.
Yeah, what I've done is I've taken the old one and condensed it, and now it can go in the mailbox, and hopefully everybody will help us out. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Other staff comments?
Thank you, Mayor. We ran 58 calls during last month, and some housekeeping things. For decades, we have run automatic aid with the county on structure fires. That has never been formalized, and when ISO came to town last year, they said, y'all need to get that in writing. It's working its way through the county system right now. It'll come to the city attorney for his approval. That'll be coming in front of you in the next month or so to get that formalized. There'll be no change in our operations. Speaking of ISO, July 1st, their new rating standard takes effect. Anxiously awaiting that thing for months and months and months. We have an opportunity to gain more points. If you recall, we went from a 6 to a 5, missing a 4 by 2.5 points. It's a public record, but I'm not going to pick on them. But another city in Williamson County, whose initials start with a B, have a 4, and they're just barely into that 4 from a 5. Now, in their hierarchy, 10 means uninsured, 1 means the best, 33,000 fire departments in the United States, less than 2 dozen are 1s. You can't get them. When you go from a 9, 8, 7, that's a major class. Going from a 7 to a 6 is a big drop in your premiums. 6, 5, 4, going from a 4 to a 3 is a big drop. So we think in the next rating, which we're going to ask for next summer, after the Quint gets here, we've built our training tower, which we took a big hit. We didn't have one. We think we're going to get that 4. We might even pass that city with a B and have a lower ISO rating than them. I think we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor and Vice Mayor, Commissioners, you have a copy of my report. Planning Department has reviewed preliminary site plan for L&L equipment out on Highway 96. Grading plan for a full site for the Walmart development, and an amendment to the Fairview Historic Village Master Development Plan. Building Permit Department issued 6 building permits for the month of May. Total construction costs for those permits were $578,361. We issued 50 electrical permits. The Complaints Department received 2 complaints. We forwarded those to the appropriate department for resolution. We fielded 55 calls for service-related orders, forwarded those to the proper departments for work to be completed. We completed 37 building inspections. The Codes Violation Department received 8 complaints for the month of May. There were 58 violation letters sent out, 3 letters of failure to comply sent out, no citations written.
Thank you, sir.
Just want to let everyone know, Fishing Rodeo is actually a free fishing day in Tennessee. Registration in the park starts at 6:30 a.m. Fishing starts at 7 to 10. Awards will be given out around 10:30ish. TWRA is also buying hot dogs. And we have the 6 Mile Run coming up July 14th, and I'll get more into that as we get closer. Also, summer camps are starting. We have 6 weeks of summer camp that are getting ready to kick off on Monday.
Excellent. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but
Question for you.
thank you.
I went by the park Saturday and Sunday morning. Over half the cars that were there were not even from Williamson County. What kind of response do we get to those pay boxes? And there was 6 horse trailers up on top of the hill too.
The pay boxes are strictly for horse and mountain bike riders that live outside our zip code. It's kind of hard to say because it varies from month to month depending on how long the trails stay closed or are open. And we are working on that to keep them open longer. Just really depends on the rain right now.
There's a couple people up at the horse place that the trails are in fantastic shape and they're really happy with them, just, because I asked them for input into it. The question I had is, who's paying for the park and who's using the park?
Well, the horseback riders, and I know the mayor could attest to this, we're getting a lot of horseback riders from, as soon as 840 opened, we had a couple come out,
Yeah.
and they said they've never been here, they were just driving and
Now
seeing
they
it.
come all the time.
And now, people are also
followed
commenting
them in
on
on
the
840.
Bowie Park signs out on the interstate. So we're getting a lot of interest, through that, so.
To go along with what he's saying, and it goes back to what the Commissioner Basile said earlier about the use of the library, and that he feels like we would be paying double if we paid for half the building. And right now, the citizens of Fairview are providing a free service for everybody else to use. That's basically what he's getting at. And we don't feel like we're getting the correct usage out of the pay boxes. And it's nothing you are doing wrong. Don't get that wrong. But that's something needs to be done that can alleviate that problem. And I think we're on the right track possibly with finding something having to do with maybe when the new entrance is built into it. But we're working on it.
Anything?
Just a question, a lot of out-of-town cars.
Oh, there it is. They're using.
And I'm glad they enjoy the park.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Other staff comments?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Last month, we had 693 calls. We had 20 accidents, only 3 with injuries. We made 57 arrests, 6 DUIs, 2 domestics, 3 drug cases last month. Now,
Didn't
Got a
we-
hand up.
I know. That's while you're handing those out. Didn't we have something to do with a US bust on somebody with fraud and things? With some of our
One of
detectives?
the cases that we worked started out as a break-in.
Industrial Park.
Modern Marble. Broke in, stole some checks. They were from out of state. The detectives worked very hard on it. Our problem was it went state to state, state to state. So we had to get other agencies involved. And I think somebody said, I didn't see the paper, that we assisted. We solved that case. They assisted. We solved we had to get the FBI and Secret Service involved. They ended up with the case, but we solved the case. And Detective David Bowler, very good job, and I'm proud of him.
I just want to make sure they got commended for that, because I know that was a big case.
I didn't bring this up when you were talking about budget, because this is not 13-14 budget. This would be 14-15 budget. But I was asked, the first turn-in was 12 cars. This is the price on 10 cars, 8 cars, and I also went with a lease program. The problem with the lease program, well, the percentage is 5.95%, where I can get them for 2.2. Plus, if I went with a lease, it would be 13-14 budget. It would be this year's budget. And I don't recommend lease. Because when you lease the vehicles, you don't lease the equipment. So that means I would still have to go borrow money for the equipment. Where if and it's up to the board if we went with 8, 10, or 12 vehicles. And but if we did these, we would not start our payments until 14-15 budget. But we would get the cars this year. We have 360 days after delivery or after it's approved for the first payment.
Thank you.
Questions?
I have a question, Chief.
Yes, sir.
About the 2 red lights on 100.
Yes, sir.
And I see that, I would say most of the problems have been solved with the traffic backup on the one coming out of Cox Pike. Do we have full control over those traffic lights, being the city, being you, the chief, or being Kevin having a key to the box? How does that work?
You got a key? Yes, sir. Kevin's got a key, he's got
Chief's
a key.
got a key.
I got a key.
All right.
Problem is, my key, I can open it up and I don't know what to do with, once you get in there. They've showed me little stuff.
I think
but
Kevin's had a good class on it.
Kevin's done real well. Kevin contacts me and we'll set the times and whatever we want to do. And we work very well together, and Kevin has made sure that it doesn't get backed up in the evening to make
Right.
sure it.
Change the duration. I'm not qualified to work on traffic control, or neither is chief.
No.
But we still have a warranty on the one at Cox Pike, and we have the capability to make modifications, timing, durations,
Okay.
and things of that nature.
The request that's been made from me by 3 different citizens is, why in the world do our traffic lights work all night?
Well,
And I say that if every other place in the country can change it, we can put it on flash too. Now, the ones at the interstate probably need to keep going because there's traffic on and off all night. But I went to a fishing tournament 2 weeks ago at 3:30 in the morning and saw it myself, was stopped here at Publix, and there wasn't another car that
yeah.
come.
The only thing, I've heard the request. I will not change it unless y'all
Well,
recommend it.
I'll put it on the
But
next
my
agenda.
my recommendation, y'all don't have to vote. If y'all would just give me directions to change it, my recommendation, instead of 11 to 6, maybe 11 to 5. Because
11 to
we have
5.
people leaving to go to work to Nashville earlier. Yeah, I don't think you have to vote on it. I just don't want the responsibility. If y'all give me directions and if that's what y'all want.
Is anybody opposed to that
I would
flashing
think
at
like
night?
12 to 4, but I don't know.
But I don't mind. But at 11 o'clock at night,
All
our
these-
traffic is down.
All these stores are closed, so I mean, I'd say at 11 o'clock.
I would say with 6. I get out and I'm on the road at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I am too. I am here at 5:30,
And there's
but
very
there's a
little-
lot of traffic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of traffic coming out of
I'm
Cox
talking about the light
Pike.
up here.
There's not enough traffic to stop 100 traffic, is what I'm saying.
True.
That's the point.
That's the point. That's the point. And if you go to Franklin or Whippoorwill Hill down there, it starts flashing at 10 and stops at 6.
Starts at 6, starts back at 6, yes.
Starts at 6 in the morning and starts flashing at 10.
Yeah, and we can do 10. Our traffic is not bad late at night.
10 to 5, 10 to 6.
But my recommendation, we would go 10 to 5. I just recommend we get a lot of people coming out, and McDonald's, people come and go around and come out that way.
I have a little difference of opinion. I don't think down at Whippoorwill Hill, that's in a non-congested rural area, is really a good go-by. I would like to start it no later, I'd like for it to run through midnight. And the reason being is that we have a lot of events we could change it during the year, but in getting in people's mind when it runs, I think consistency is very important. I think we have a lot of traffic, more traffic actually at night than we do early in the morning, that needs traffic control, if you follow me.
More than Nashville and Franklin? We're talking downtown Franklin, they start flashing at 10 o'clock at night.
Well,
Right off,
If I had to pull, I'd say 11 because that's curfew.
right off the square.
Maybe.
We have one.
it's just a matter of choice, but I think it should go to a flash at some time. I just would like to see us do it 12 to 6 is what I'd like to see us do. And the reason I picked 12 is so that events would be over, people coming home from Friday night, Saturday night out.
See, that's the whole
downtown.
thing. Why do you want to stop the people coming home up until 12 o'clock? People are coming
I want
home.
to slow them down. I want to slow them down. That's the whole purpose. If you're not, the second part of a traffic light is to break the traffic up, to slow the traffic down. And if people know at 10 o'clock that those lights are going to yellow,
then I think the effort that the chief and his folks are putting out to slow the people down through the middle of Fairview is going to be counterproductive. I think that they should stop for the purpose of slowing them down, not just because it may take them an extra. Now, the lights could sequence faster.
We also changed that.
If the lights only trip because there was a car trying to get out of Publix, that would be fine. But for it to stop you and you sit there for 2 minutes and not a single car turned out of any direction, that's crazy to stop you.
We can have that changed also.
That's absolutely insane to have somebody sit there for 2 minutes and not a single
Because
car.
a lot of lights are made, and I think they can do that, where 100 will be, the lights will just stay green until someone
That's
pulls
exactly
out.
right. And
We
traffic lights are not designed to slow cars down. They're designed to stop traffic so other people can go.
Well, the
They're not designed to slow cars down.
The definition of a flashing yellow light is to slow down and proceed with caution anyway. That's the definition.
Traffic lights are designed to regulate traffic.
Yes, yes.
And that can be slowing traffic down.
But Publix doesn't open till 7 o'clock in the morning, is that right? So on that side right there, we do have people coming out of Chester and that direction right there. But I'm out there every morning, and it's very, very little off side road traffic, let me put it to you like that. Most of it's moving through. And I appreciate it, because if I get off, to get back on, sometimes takes me forever. But once you corrected the problem we had before, almost every time, if there's one car sitting up there, it doesn't stay red but like 10 to 12 seconds.
Right.
Which is no problem, shouldn't be any problem with anybody. That's a
If
good
it's
adjustment.
working in the ground, everything's fine.
Yes, you're correct.
Well, there's max times, and if it doesn't see any activity on Fairview Boulevard, kind of like in the rush hour, the max 2 time, it goes up to 70 seconds. And then it's automatically going to do a light cycle. Now, you'd have to get in there and look at the programming. Since we're still under warranty down at Cox Pike, it shouldn't be a huge issue to make modifications. If we start pulling into this traffic controller here, Fairview Boulevard in Chester, in the Publix area, we're probably going to get into possibly some cost to have some programs rerun.
Well, we'll have to get them, we'll have to pay for this one to get the flash. But if we did flash it, we need to do both of them.
Correct. Yes, sir.
If y'all give me a time, we'll do it.
11 is curfew. 5 o'clock, people are out working. So there's your window of time. Whether it be on that minute or not, there's a window of time there. From
I'm
11
fine
to
with
5.
11 to 5.
11 to 5,
5 works for me. That's
11 to
fine.
5.
I'm fine.
Don't we need to
done.
put this on the agenda for the next meeting?
For the cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan to do that.
He needs,
Okay. And I would like to just say that it seems like there's open discussion. Let's just continue this as a public safety committee participant and conversation, because there's obviously more to converse about Chester and programming and in
We'll
the
have
future.
to call the people and try to get it done at the same time if you'll give us the next week.
Well, staff
Oh,
is
that's
capable,
fine.
or the public safety committee can be called together for future discussions.
I'm working on it.
The only thing I'd like to see added to this right here is I'd like to see a cost analysis if we order 10, 8, whatever it is, on maintenance, that we're still gonna have to pay if we don't order X number of cars.
Randy had talked to me and he was saying that our maintenance budget is gonna go way up.
I don't doubt that, but I'd like to know.
Because he's working on cars every day.
I'd like to know the difference between the two.
He was working on one on the side of the road either yesterday
Yes,
or
sir.
today. On the side of the road, I saw him.
Okay.
And, you know,
If you could include
That's
that.
bad.
I'll get that, yes, sir. I'll have that by the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Any other staff comments? City attorney comments?
Thank you, Mayor. The only comment that I'd have to make is just a clarification on the school facilities tax, to clear up some things. Every county in this state is required to, the adequate school facility tax was passed by the legislature, and while I have the utmost respect for the county and the county officials and what they do, I love Williamson County, it's not something that any county in the state does out of the goodness of their heart. It was
Excuse me, quiet in the court, quiet in the room, please.
It was dictated
Continue.
by the state legislature that there's a formula for it, that they take in X number of dollars on the adequate facilities, they keep X number of dollars, and then X number of dollars has to go to each city in the county,
That's through-
based on the number, pardon me?
Through what legislative that's required?
The state legislature.
Okay.
They did that on the adequate facilities tax and said that after this, the county can't pass any more adequate facilities, and that the adequate facilities that the county themselves retain must be spent on schools. And there is some flexibility for the cities, i.e. the interest that you draw off of it, if you choose to, you can put in the general fund. The actual principal money that you get, though, must stay in that school facilities. And where that you have the flexibility that they don't is that any public project that classifies or qualifies as public project, you can do. When the county decides to build another school, they have the right to ask you to chip in out of those funds, which was the reason that I said to feel safe about doing this for the library, since that is not a school per se, that I want the city to do a resolution to the county legislative body saying we want to take this money out, and here's our reason. This library is used by the school students, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't think they'll have a problem with it, but it gets you out of the situation of when the county sometimes says we want some money, and you say, well, we don't want to contribute this much, and they say, well, we sent this much, what did you do with this? And that would clarify that. I don't think they have a problem with the county at all. I just would want the city to be in the position of not having someone say, well, you put this in a library, that's not a school. But the main reason for this was these funds that are distributed to the cities all over the state, at the counties, it's not them with their goodwill or bad will, it's dictated by the state legislature. You take in this much money, you keep this much, and you distribute this much to the schools. To address something that Commissioner Sutton said, there was no provision in there for the cities having to spend it. They can put it in that fund and leave it there from now on, and apparently a lot of them do. I think it makes sense if it was sent to you to use for school facilities. It makes perfect sense to me to use it for the school facilities, although there is no directive in that statute that says you have to spend it.
Thank you. And clarification, Ms. Pewitt, can you confirm where the interest of that goes? Is it back into general fund?
It's in an account called school facilities interest, and they do roll that back into the school facilities fund.
So it goes back into itself? Okay, just, that had never been brought up, so I wanted clarification. Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Bissell.
I don't have anything, Mayor, but Commissioner Carroll wanted me to extend her apologies. It's her mother's birthday, and she was late for her mother's birthday party. And so she exited a little early, so she apologizes for that. But she did want everybody to know that. She didn't just get bored with Chief Harris and leave.
Comments, Commissioner Sutton.
I just want to compliment the employees of the city on doing a great job. I want to compliment the citizens coming out and showing interest in some of the boards that we have. Those are vital to our progress that we have here. Remind everybody about the pancake dinner, the
Pancake breakfast?
breakfast.
The
It's late
15th?
for me too, yeah. On the 15th up here at the lodge. So it goes for a lot of good reasons, good causes. And Jim will be there.
Jimmy's Car Wash
Jimmy's
next
Car
Saturday.
Wash. It's this Saturday.
This
Saturday's the car wash.
Day after tomorrow.
Next Saturday is the breakfast.
Vice Mayor.
And I would like to thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you for picking me up.
You're welcome. I'd like to.
You can go in and thank me for taking you
Yeah,
home.
Tony's going to take him home. So you got it. I'd like to thank the Fuentes family for being here, and the Hall brothers for sticking this entire meeting out. That shows dedication from citizens that weren't even applying for a board to two that stayed here to the duration of the meeting. And sometimes people think that this is super boring. That's why I'm sure they don't get involved. and you all show dedication of wanting to serve and wanting to speak your opinions, even when everyone doesn't agree. It shows a lot for somebody to do that, and then not just state their opinion and leave, but to stay and see what's going on the entire city business. So I thank each and every one of you all for being here. That's all, Mayor.
I don't have anything. I need a motion for adjournment.
Commissioner Messina?
You did.
You went
Oh, okay, I
first.
wasn't. So moved.
Motion moved second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening. Thank you for your attention.